Hello class, I want to take a few minutes to go over one of the problems in chapter 10 just to help you kind of get going with some of your homework. One thing I wanted to stress to you as you start to work on chapters 10 and 12, basically the same carryover basis and provisions that you learned about with a corporation, especially when people transfer assets into a corporation, are going to be the same rules that typically follow when people transfer in property or cash into a partnership or an LLC, which an LLC will operate like a partnership, or similar as we're going to find in chapter 12. Let's go ahead and look at our situation in chapter 28. I've kind of put the facts up here for you. You've got K and S forming an LLC. K contributes $360,000 in cash. S contributes the property with a basis of $380 and a fair market value. Got that wrong. The fair market value of the property is $360. Okay, so let's get that corrected. So you can see right here with S's property contribution, there's already a kind of expected loss of $20,000 because the fair market value is less than the basis. So the first question in A says, how much or gain or loss does S realize on the transfer? Then when they want to know recognize, how much is recognized? So realize there's a difference between what is realized and what is recognized. What is realized is really what comes out of the transaction. What is recognized has to do with what you report for tax purposes. Okay? So what the gain or loss does S realize? If you look at it, S realizes a $20,000 loss. Since you go fair market value of $360 minus basis $380 equals a $20,000 loss. Okay, that's what S actually realizes on the transaction. But then we want to know, what do they recognize? Remember, in your chapter it talks about section 721 that contains that general rule that it says when you transfer property to a partnership, no gain or loss is recognized to the LLC or any of its members, okay, in exchange for the capital interest. Capital, whether it's actual property or cash, is still considered property. It's still considered property transfer. So when we get into the situation next, where we look a little bit more at both of them, and we'll look at a little bit, we'll see that with K, who contributes cash, cash is considered property just as the property that S contributes. But A is addressing first S's contribution. How much does it recognize then? S recognizes 0. So 0 loss. And it's because they have a carryover basis in the property of $380,000. Okay? So their value is going to be $380. Okay? She does not recognize the loss. Right? Question B then asks, what is K's basis in the LLC interest? Okay? K's basis is the $360,000. As I was saying, K's basis is the $360,000 cash contributed. Okay. Next it asks me, what is S basis in it? S basis is, which we already covered right up here, they get the carryover basis. So S's basis is the $380,000, the carryover. So we've kind of got our loss built into the carryover basis. All right, next it asks us, what basis does the LLC take in the property transferred by S? Okay, the LLC is also going to get the carryover basis. So the LLC's basis, property is the $380,000. The carryover. So here again, no gain or loss, in this case it would be a loss, is recognized. And then our last question in this, it says, are there any more effective ways to structure these entities? Basically, the best thing that you could do, the most beneficial, would be is if S will sell the property to an outside party, then S can claim the loss, okay, and contribute cash of $360,000 to the partnership. And in this way, the loss goes ahead and gets recognized. S benefits because they get to take a deductible loss on their tax return. The partnership ends up getting the property at its fair market value, so that loss has already been utilized, and so it does not get suspended in the contribution of the property to the partnership. Okay, so that's just a basic problem, just to cover some of the initial understanding of the rules when you're dealing with partnerships and LLCs. Keep in mind it's very similar to what you've been working with corporations. Hope that helps you as you continue to work on your homework.